Koi had just pressed the record button on his phone, ready to talk about some of his favorite clothes over the past few months. Starting off with an accessory, these Balenciaga Nevermind cat sunglasses from Pre-Fall 21. The Pre-Fall collection is a collection that typically drops between April and May after the Spring-Summer collection hits stores, giving bigger designer brands with more means a chance to produce and sell more commercially marketable and wearable clothes. This is also from the Fortnite collab. 10 recent pickups on the couch right now, just swiped out my bank account. For obvious reasons, Koi was advised not to continue pursuing his music career, following a brief stint under the alias Wiz Khalifa the previous year. These sunglasses were honestly pretty hype and they sold out everywhere. Kind of surprising. I guess it's because they don't look like just a boring pair of sunglasses. You know, they're pretty interesting and they also look pretty good in my opinion. Koi felt that these sunglasses looked better without bangs, which is why he did his hair in a middle part for this video. I wasn't always a sunglasses guy. I'm definitely becoming more of a sunglasses guy than before, but I still get that feeling like when you wear sunglasses, you kind of get that like douche or like too try hard feeling. At least I do. You know, I'm sure not everyone's like that, but I just can't fully shake that feeling. I'm definitely getting more comfortable in sunglasses, but I still definitely like feel that way for sure. But overall, obviously, I still really like these and I wear these a lot. I wear these a lot in my vlog too.
This is a certified hood classic.
If you want to look at like different angles of them in that as well. The only downside to these is because like the sides, they go up so much on the sides, it kind of makes it awkward to wear with like hats and things like that because it kind of pushes the whole hat up. Like normally it would sit lower, but it like cuts into the sunglass, if you know what I mean. Modern problems require modern solutions. But I mean, yeah, overall I do really like these and I think they're just interesting enough, and maybe they're not wearable like every day, but you can wear them in a lot of outfits and I think they'll look good. Alright, so the first item of clothing is the Balenciaga flap jacket from Resort 20. Similar to the Pre-Fall collection, the Resort collection is another collection that isn't the main extravagant runway fall-winter or spring-summer collections. They are typically between the spring-summer and fall-winter runways, originally designed as a season for the uber-rich clientele who need new clothes before their vacations. This is a super dope piece. I didn't have any jackets that ended at kind of that like below the waist but above the knee, kind of that like mid-thigh length. All of my jackets either end at the waist or near like my ankles. In fact, Koi did have another mid-length jacket, but had meant this to be at the time he purchased this jacket, which was over a year ago. Since then, he had thrifted another mid-length jacket, which, although is also a great piece, was not expensive enough to make the clickbaiting threshold cut that the name brand pieces shown in this video will make. It's a pretty thin jacket and it has this very subtle kind of like navy check pattern on it, but from really far away it can just pass as like a faded black or like just a solid navy, darkish navy color. But in the right lighting you can see the navy check and I just love how subtle that is. It fits super huge. Like I have a size 42, which equates to an extra small. Not an extra small, but an extra small. Now, don't get it twisted. The thing about the sizing is that Koi then went into a 27-minute tirade about how he isn't short. And although at one point during the monologue made some interesting points about the microeconomics of reselling bananas, the soliloquy was ultimately deemed unavailing. But anyway, enough about that. Lastly, one of the most interesting things about this piece is it actually has a hidden button here, which kind of lets you wear it like a bunch of different ways and just adds to its overall versatility. So overall, really nice piece. Next up, another outerwear from Balenciaga, the Balenciaga double-breasted coat from Fall Winter 20. Honestly, this is going to be impossible to show holding on camera, so I'm not going to try. This is a really nice, simple, but like top tier coat. In my opinion, it's one of those pieces that like At its core, it's really simple, right? Like anyone can get a black coat from anywhere, but what really makes this piece stand out is, how well it's tailored and how good it looks on body. And I feel like those little details on like a basic item are what make it so special and what make it really stand out from the rest. Some details that I really like include kind of the tailoring around the waist to create kind of that hourglass shape, as well as the boxier padded shoulders. Overall, it's got a classic and timeless silhouette, and honestly, I feel like it's just at the top of black coats for me, so I feel like if there's one black coat for me to get and to wear forever, it's this, and I just don't see myself ever letting go of this coat. Oh, and one thing to note is that the retail version of this coat that was actually produced was a little bit shorter than the runway version. In fact, Koi had discovered this when he first received and tried on the coat, and found that it went to around his shin rather than down to his feet, and, in a brief moment of delusion, believed that the difference in fit was because he may have been taller than the model on the runway. Of course, this was not true. Okay, so this is the Balenciaga Paris Fall Winter 2017 hoodie. At least I think it's from Fall Winter 17. I actually don't know. I probably should have looked it up before this video, but I mean, whatever, who cares? In fact, Koi had tried to look at the season this piece released in before filming, but, unable to find out what season it was from, decided that it was better to pretend he hadn't, to front a nonchalant, carefree attitude, which he felt may be perceived as cooler. To be honest, I mean, there's not much to say. Like, it's a hoodie. This hoodie came in a ton of different variants, and this one in particular is the women's variant that is oversized and also has the pocket on the front. Yeah, I mean, not much to say, but this is very likely my most worn piece of clothing in my entire wardrobe. I mean, the fit, the fade, the graphic, everything about it to me is perfect, so not much to say. It's a hoodie, but I wear it a lot and I like it. Koi even had the T version, which he also wore a lot. Goddamn Gucci Balenci 3 Perry logo. Yes! Yes! Another piece I don't really have much to say about, this Crewneck by Vetements. It says Unskinny on the front and Dream Big on the back, which both I think are absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's literally just an oversized crewneck. Not really going to talk about it much more. Koi's recent infatuation with phrases such as unskinny raised growing concerns with his therapist, who he had been visiting since the diagnosis of his addiction to shopping for clothes. My name is Koi. I live in California, USA, and I'm addicted to Coppin' Johns. His therapist, fearing that he may be teetering on the edge of an eating disorder, had advised Koi to throw away the crewneck, to which Koi reluctantly obliged. All right, next up we've got this beautiful Maison Margiela cropped knit from Fall Winter 18. I've owned this piece forever. Like, I got it from Marni's, just to give you an idea of how long I've owned this. I feel like this is the exact fit everyone wants when they go for those crop sweaters. I mean, I love everything about this. I love the color too. And with the cut of the sweater, overall it gives it a very feminine feel. Also, the sweater weirdly gets a ton of compliments. I feel like legitimately every single time I wear this, someone randomly compliments it. This was actually true, but for obvious reasons, no footage is available, other than a reproduction created by Koi containing his artistic renditions of these interactions. All right, and moving on to the bottoms, we have a 2-for-1 deal with these flared denims from Balenciaga. In fact, despite looking nearly identical, the two pairs were actually from different seasons. Okay, so starting off with the blue pair is from Fall Winter 18. The denim is a little bit thinner and the cut of the pants is a little bit slimmer, which I actually prefer to this black pair, which is from Spring Summer 19. The denim on this pair is a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more robust, and overall the fit is a little bit baggier. One thing that remains consistent across both pairs is that the tagged waist size fits about 2 to 3 inches bigger than what it actually says, so you might want to keep that in mind for sizing references if you are looking for a pair of these. I had actually been looking for both of these jeans for so long, like literal years, and it's not like they never popped up or anything over those years, but it was always for prices like higher than I wanted to pay. And then like the jeans would actually sell and I'd be like, oh my God. And then that just like kept happening over and over again. But yeah, like I said, I found both of these jeans eventually within the span of a week. And now that I own them, I'm really happy that I bought them and I wear them all the time. Next up is a pair of shorts. These knitted shorts from Judy Turner. Overall, I'm not really a shorts wearer. There has to be a really good reason for me to wear shorts. And I don't mean like a functional reason. I don't really sweat or like get hot. So it's more like a style reason, I guess. So for the most part, if I'm wearing shorts, it's probably gonna be something that's a bit more interesting, maybe due to its design or like the cut of it, or I don't know, like it has to be like something interesting overall for me to actually want to wear the shorts. So I tend to gravitate towards shorts with more like interesting designs or cuts, and that's kind of why I like these shorts so much. For one, they're made of like a knitted wool, so just by being knitted shorts, I feel like it adds a little bit something interesting. And also the cut is pretty long, like it ends below the knee, which is initially I really hated below the knee shorts, but now I'm kind of growing more open to them. I used to literally only like shorts that ended above the knee, but nowadays I like shorts that end below the knee as well. They were originally this like darkish red maroon color, but I really hated that color, so I dyed them black. Initially I was hoping that they'd be dyed like a straight black, but when it came out in this kind of like, I don't know, like tie-dye pattern, but I'm actually really happy that it ended up this way because I actually like it this way a lot more. So it's kind of got like the black, you know, dyed throughout it, and then the rest of the maroon color is kind of a little bit darker overall. But yeah, overall just a nice pair of shorts. I love the knitted material, I love the cut, I think they're interesting, and yeah. Okay, so moving on to some footwear, we've got these Adidas Forum 84 Low ADVs. I originally got these just to skate in. Despite having skateboarded for years, Koi's skill was akin to that of a skateboarder of approximately 12 days. Honestly, I think these shoes are basically just like an alternative to the Air Force One. I do really like the suede. I do find these to be a little bit more comfortable, and overall I just really like the look of the shoe. I think all the colors they chose are really nice, and something important about this shoe is that I think that the shoe looks a lot better with age, and as you can see by, you know, how dirty they are, I definitely put them to use. Again, Koi is not good at skating. But yeah, overall just a nice little casual sneaker to throw on and not worry about, and I think they look good with a lot of different pants as well. Okay, last item are going to be these Marni loafers. These are the Marni New Forest loafers from Fall Winter 20. They're either from Fall Winter 20 or Spring Summer 21, but I think these ones in particular are from Fall Winter 20. But either way, it doesn't matter because it seems like they are re-releasing these quite frequently nowadays, like almost every single season. I'm not gonna lie, they kind of have like that platform, Hot Topic, Y2K, e-girl type look to them, but I still really like them. I remember when I first got these, they were super, super uncomfortable. And then I assumed that just like most other shoes, that as I wore them, they would break in. They never broke in. Fast forward to today, these are easily, by far the most uncomfortable shoes I have ever worn. If there was like a world ranking of shoes in terms of comfort, These would rank dead last, like I'm serious, they're that bad. But despite all that, because of how good the shoe looks, I still wear them. I really like the look of this shoe overall. I love the platform. I love kind of the square toed effect it has. I just think they're super versatile, and I wish there was a shoe that looked like literally just like this, but that didn't create like existential dread every single time I wore them. Koi's therapist had also told him to throw away these shoes for that very reason. But Koi, unable to follow through on either item, had secretly recovered both during a midnight heist, which is why he was able to show them to you in this video. On the next Arrested Closet, Koi decides to show how his Spring/Summer 22 favorites look on body. Anyway, that's all the pieces that I'm going to talk about today, so let's go ahead and see these pieces on body. Unfortunately, Koi's literal interpretation of the phrase "on body" proved problematic, and his misunderstanding persisted even through multiple attempts.